Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of CampusCare EdTalks. EdTalks is a platform where educators and leaders come on board and express their viewpoints related to education and society. A topic for the day is tackling the decreasing attention span of students, and to express their viewpoints on the same, we have with us Dr. Ragini Kaul ma'am, Principal of Maxford School, Paschim Vihar, Delhi. A very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Neha. Thank you so much.
Then we have Mr. Srinivas Sriram, sir, Principal of the Man School, Delhi. A very warm welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So good to have you here, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am and sir. Thank you so much for taking out your precious time.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure.
So let's start off with the session, ma'am and sir, shall we?
Yeah. Please.
So, Ragini ma'am, how has technology affected the attention span of people in general? Let's not talk about students here. How do you think has technology affected this attention span?
Neha, I think it has. It has, affected one and all under the sun. And we all see it all the more now because we are too used to it. And living in the digital era with everybody with a gadget in their hands, the haves and the have-nots, it has made life difficult. But if we go by the data, it says that the attention span of people has already decreased from 12 minutes to 5 minutes. Now we can see and imagine how our brain is getting wired and rewired, unfortunately, and how we are reacting differently to different situations, to different aspects of life. And it's all, maybe some of us do not realize it. Why this impact? Why are we becoming so forgetful? I mean, if you ask me, at times I even forget, where did I leave my keys? Where did I leave my car keys, Or you put something on the gas stove and you forget, oh Lord, I had put my pan there. Now you will say, ma'am, this has been happening earlier as well. So what is so different about it? But these are tasks, basic tasks that anyone or all of us used to complete uninterrupted earlier. And these are things that impacted people, at a very, very later stage of their life, 80 plus and all, which in the medical history is termed as Alzheimer's disease and all. But it's not expected in young children. It's not expected in the youth. It's not expected in people who fall into our age brackets. So this is the impact. And if the data is backing it and saying that, yes, technology has entered the human domains, and undoubtedly, at our stage, we feel young, adult, grown up, it is impacting us. And there's data to prove it that, yes, it is. So it is impacting all of us. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Please,
can I just add on to what ma'am says?
Sure, sir.
Ma'am, with your permission.
Yes, sir. Please.
You see, actually, technology is a very, very broad term. Okay, the technology that is used for good purposes, but I think the technology that we are talking about here is that technology which combines the television, the mobile, internet, gadgets, which predominantly we use for recreational purposes. Now, that is where the real problem comes in. Technology can be used for productive use as well. During the pandemic, technology has been our biggest savior in terms of getting our lessons going with the online education and so on and so forth. So, something is better than nothing. So we did that. But having said that, it is the recreational technology which the students and the people in general have been exposed to over a period of time since the invent of these gadgets that has set in a kind of tendency to increase our absent-mindedness, reduce our ability to think and remember, and pay attention to things and regulate emotions. Now, this is the biggest problem. And the reason why it has happened is that it trains our mind to diversify attention and not focus on a single aspect. How many times have we seen a television and then we are changing channels, we are attending a phone call, chatting, there is a game going on the tablet. Multitasking is good, but then our attention span or focused attention span on one area was lacking. And I think...
as they say, the problem lies with plenty, too much.
Yes. Yeah. So that is the basic reason why we have come to this stage. So there is addiction. I mean, I read an article where they said that the previous generation of people, my forefathers, when they dreamt about, they had dreams only in black and white. Now today, the generation Z have colored dreams. See the impact. I mean, they can't even imagine things in color. So that has been the kind of impact that technology has created. And of course, research has gone on to say that there's a lot of damage in neurocells in brain, resulting in anxiety, depression, that FOMO, that, that I will miss out on the social media, some updates, and ADHD coming in teens so early, as ma'am has rightly said.
In plenty, so learning disabilities,
And there is this phantom vibration syndrome. How many times have we taken the phone? Some messages come to check whether there is a, call, missed call, is a social media update. So all these are the ones that has really...
Sir, unfortunately, we are not using to the right purpose or for the right purpose and the right, content, because, it's an addiction. It's become an addiction now. And any kind of addiction, we will all agree, is bad. Is bad.
Absolutely.
Because, if you ask me or anybody for that matter, for a layman, everybody understands that we can't do sans technology. It is there and it's there to stay.
Yes.
But what we have to work on is how much and when, and we have to lead from the front as their elders, as their parents. When the parent himself or herself is glued to the gadget 24/7, what does the child have to learn, and how do you check the child on that?
Absolutely, ma'am.
And if we do not put a check right now, we are heading for disaster. I mean, that's what I personally feel.
Yes, you're very true.
Thank you so much, ma'am and sir. So over to you, sir. We were just discussing how has technology affected the attention span of people in general. So moving forward, how is this decreased attention span affecting the way of learning among students?
Definitely, lack of focus is the most important point. Wavering mind, not able to concentrate on something. And I think the pandemic has amplified the problem, because that is the time when we gave the gadgets to the students, asked them to attend classes online. Though technology, on the one hand, became a savior there, but at the same time, there was no proper watch that was kept on the students. So they kept on going into various mediums, YouTubes, TikTok videos, chatting and so on and so forth. So they never concentrated. And in spite of, I don't know, ma'am will agree with me or not, but in spite of the multiple education is coming on various online forums and saying that online education has been a great success. Unfortunately, I do not see that in reality. But when we had the students back, I found that there were large educational gaps among students. What we taught through online, hardly there was any retention. And that is precisely the question that you asked, that it has decreased the attention span among students. So you see what happens is, technology enables excitement, stimulation, and it gives a reward. Okay, you're watching a thriller, you're waiting for that moment, what is going to happen at the end. You're playing a game, you clear a level, that's a reward. Unfortunately, in academics, it can be replicated, but the system that we have already is less of excitement, the same old mundane, boring lectures of teachers. So we need to look at this. We need to make the sessions interesting. So there is less stimulation and hardly any reward in terms of a daily activity. The reward may come for a student over a period of time in the assessments when he or she does well. Okay, but not on a daily basis. Here you have a game, you clear a level, so there is a reward. So that is probably the deciding factor. Also, less of conceptual understanding leading to poor retention. Only when you focus, you can have proper understanding. Conceptual understanding is very difficult. You can't do that unless until you're focused. And the researchers have talked about popcorn brain. I don't know how many of you have heard of this phrase. The brain today of our generation Z expects information fast and in small amounts. Now, that's not the way a typical lecture happens in a classroom. We normally deliver lectures in the traditional model in most of the schools. Of course, changes are coming in. We are getting into experiential learning and so on and so forth. But this popcorn brain, which is getting developed, is the main root cause of the loss of retention span, which leads to memory loss because there is no deep diving into the concept, only superficial and less of experiential. And I think pandemic is one of the reasons that we have come to this stage.
And sir, if I may add on to it, it is psychologically proven fact that when we begin young, it is, the mind is wired in such a way that it takes time gradually to kind of learn to process information. But here we are bombarding the children with too much coming in at the same time. So the brain is also getting confused.
Absolutely.
So we have already confused their brains with too much coming in at the same time, and what to process, when to process, how to process. So online, as sir said, I'm in tandem with what sir said, because, online, ask us as educators, ask the teachers what their challenges are after the children have come back. Yes. We may talk of hybrid learning. That's a different concept altogether. But going 100% online, that personal connect, that personal touch,
completely,
that supervised, supervision of the adult in your life, who's monitoring you, who's monitoring your moves, grooming you, counseling you, guiding you, is a total miss. You're totally on your own on the online forum.
And so that has led to behavioral and social problems among children. Postural problems that have cropped into they're not able to sit properly in the class.
They don't know. Yeah, they don't know.
Thank you so much, ma'am and sir. So, Ragini ma'am, how can this issue be tackled in your point of view?
See, there are many ways. Now, as we began our discussion with, where sir and me did agree that we can't do without technology. And when we talk of technology, it is not a micro vision that we have to have. It's not only sitting on the computers doing your assignments or your homework or going through an important mail or something. It is a combination of watching your movies on the mobile, these days, watching news on the mobile. Then, even as schools, we feel very proud these days. Oh, we have the latest robust technology. We have this app, that app. Homework is being forwarded through this. Did we not go to school? Did we not educate ourselves? Did we not groom ourselves well when homework was given in the almanacs and we carried it home? Why have we replaced everything with technology? We should have, minimized the use to the extent that it was necessary. So the best way is to monitor the screen time that the children are spending. They say that with a screen time of 2 hours, the young children, they are already suffering from this syndrome of not being able to retain. There are behavioral problems, as sir also rightly said. We are facing these behavioral problems in children. Children are not what they used to be, 10 years down the line. But the million-dollar question is, what are we heading towards if we do not control it now? And there are ways of controlling it. As parent community, as educators, we have to ensure that our systems are in place, that what we are focusing in our mind, what we are dreaming for our children, for our future society, we have to start working now. It's the same concept. It's the same, on similar platforms, we have to think about it, like when rivers have gone dry, now we are thinking of reviving them. Why not look at them when they were dry? Why not take the challenge then? Our environment, the condition, look at the Bangalore, situation right now. What is it? It is all, global climate change. But this is not only something to be discussed, it is something to be implemented. So same goes for technology. When we know what the disasters are, when research is backing us up with facts, that this is going to happen. So the intake capacity of a child is getting impacted. So we have to look into it. I know many young parents these days who take so much of immense pride in saying, oh, my child is so good with mobile. She even knows now what the password is. My heart aches that time. My heart really aches, sir. That what are you feeling so delighted about? What's the big thing about it? It's not the right time for your child to be playing or having that gadget in your hand.
Absolutely.
Children carrying phones to the school, which of course no good school allows. But the parents are, discussing and arguing that, ma'am, hame touch mein rehna bacche ke. Class mein thodi touch mein rahoge. There are emergency landlines. Whenever, God forbid, there's an emergency, the school knows when to connect with you. You should know when to connect with the school.
Ma'am, can I say something in this? There are parents who have given mobiles because the children don't eat. मैं मोबाइल देने पे ही कहूंगा, and they give it.
Yeah.
So it's completely going.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We adults are going wrong. Be it the educators, be it the parents. You have to lead from the front as a parent. The child is watching you constantly, and whatever you or me are dreaming my child to become, whatever I want my child to be, he or she is already becoming by watching me. So I have to correct myself. I have to ensure that I'm leading from the front, and that I am, if not perfect, but a good role model for my child.
Yes.
Because this is not difficult. I have seen it in situations, in family, in relations, in friend circle, that parents who are still very, very strict about, the definition of strictness we have to define, are still very strict about laying down their, rules in the house.
Yes,
That this
absolutely.
is the rule. This is what is acceptable in our family. This is what is not. Children eventually pick that up.
They follow it. They follow
it because they know my parents will not allow it. They're not doing it themselves. But are we following it up?
Yeah.
It is so bad, sir, that from one room to the other room, it has to be dinner is late. Please come out.
Yes, ma'am. Very true.
It is that bad.
Ma'am, can I add some points on this?
Yes, sir.
So we can set age-appropriate screen time limits when ma'am talks about rules. If there is a 2-year-old to 5-year-old, you will get this much amount of time. When you are a 10-year-old, you will get this much amount of time. And most important thing is walk the talk. When you set rules, follow it. As parents, when we follow it, children learn the best from us. Many a times, as ma'am rightly said, the parents themselves are busy in phones. They are compelled to be there. So
sir, if we, sorry to interrupt, the way if we fall back on our growing up years, when is reading happening now? Is any parent reading to the child?
Very true.
Are they reading with the child or to the child? Exactly. No, it's not happening.
Exactly.
So what else does the child do? Are you taking time off your schedule to go out with the child and play games with the child?
Yes.
Go out to the outdoors, take your child out, take them for recreational activity, get them involved into sports activities.
Exactly.
Automatically, we are going to limit the use of technology.
Fun activities like painting, develop motor skills. I mean, ask them to read a novel. What a fantastic idea. I mean, you're from the English literature side, ma'am. I mean, you must be so close to your heart. Reading a novel, how many of them are doing it? The reading habit, as you rightly said, is completely gone.
And reading, is the only way where you will enhance your vocabulary, where you will be a good orator in the days to come, where you will know how to strike a communication. That's what the corporate sector or the companies are looking at. They're not looking at 90% and 99% anymore.
Absolutely.
They're looking for an incumbent who is going to be the face of whether he or she is in a position to strike conversation. How can you do it? You can't pick up a language overnight. You can't become a Shakespeare overnight.
2 or 3 more points that comes to my mind, ma'am. One is about, I don't know, you must have heard about the term micro-learning. Similar to what the students are used to, give them shorter doses of learning, which is very, very impactful. That has helped. I mean, researchers have proved that instead of having a long session where the attention span is not there, micro learning, small stuff given, learning in small bits and pieces, of course, a larger concept divided into smaller ones and then given to them helps. In my school, I have religiously told the teachers that a 40-minute lesson should be divided in a 10, 20, 10 kind of scenario, wherein the first 10 minutes will be exclusively for the recap of what has been done and a prelude to what is going to be taught today. 20 minutes of intense teaching, and as we know, for an adult the retention span is only 20 minutes today. So even the TED Talks, you must have known, it's only 18 minutes, and that is the reason for it. And that is 20 minutes is the maximum attention span one can have. So I've told my teachers only 20 minutes of proper teaching to happen, and the last 10 minutes activities and kind of experiential learning, assessments, recap, whatever thing you want to do. So it has to be this 10, 20, 10, and it is creating an impact slowly. And also make the transaction as exciting as possible. And curate the lesson plan in such a way that involves videos, some graphics, statistics and so on. Make it engaging, make it more experiential, and of course, give rewards whenever the students have performed. That can help them because they are used to this system of having rewards in the short span of time. So once you get this into the regular, classroom transaction, I think it will provide great results. Also, explain to them the health hazards when you are sitting too much on becoming a potato couch, sitting on the sofa always with a gadget. And of course, mindfulness and meditation also helps.
Mindfulness is very important.
It helps a lot. Meditation and mindfulness. Maybe a yoga session for 15 minutes or any kind of meditation really helps.
Staying mindful is very important, and teachers have to strategize that they don't have to focus on teaching. That is outdated. They have to ensure that learning is happening.
Yes.
And even before technology hit the human kind, it was a proven fact that, that the attention span of the younger children is not more than 15 minutes.
Yes.
It's even less than that at times.
Yes,
so giving short breaks, you have to strategize it. आप कितनी भी कोशिश करेंगे in a average 30 to 40 minutes period, you'll think that all 40 minutes the child is going to be actively listening to you. It's mistaken. Let's, for that matter, try to understand it more, because if we have to go for a conference and all as an adult, if the lecture goes on and on, how interested do we remain? No, it has to be short, crisp, as much as is required.
It has to be student-centric.
Yes,
it has to be
student-centric, and keep the chronological age of the children that you're handling in mind.
Yes.
What is applicable to the preschoolers cannot be applicable to the 11th grade students.
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely.
So that gradual progress has to be in mind. And a lot of CPT programs are to be done by the schools for the start. Because, it's only with years that we fine-tune ourselves.
True, ma'am.
That kind of a training has to happen. And if systems are in place, I feel that, yes, we will be able to give back to the society strong people who are rooted very well, who are upright, and who have great moral values. And a good human being, besides getting their BTECs and MTECs and doctorates and all that, that anybody is going to acquire,
Very true.
Yeah, are we churning out good human beings?
Empathy.
That's important.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
important.
Thank you so much, ma'am and sir, for being here today. It was a very wonderful session. And thank you so much for imparting your knowledge and experience on the topic.
Anytime, anything for the children. Anytime.
Pleasure, Neha,
so
for
much,
having
sir.
us. Pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you
nice
so much.
connecting with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Team Intel. Thank you.
Thank you. And looking forward to much more sessions like this. And on this note, I, Mehek, the host of the show, would like to sign off. Thank you so much, ma'am and sir. Have a great day.
For having us.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Good day. Good day.